Shabbat Shalom, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom, and wonderful to see many of you in person. This is always good. Even though we'd like to say hello to all of our virtual friends that are out there, in person's even better, and it's great to have you with us. We'll begin with the lighting of our candles on page 2. If anyone would like to come up and light candles for us, you light, the cantor sings. Absolutely. Let's have a Canadian lighting of candles. Right, it's international. Yeah, this will be perfect. Thank you.
We have Sephardic Shabbat later. We have Canadian Shabbat tonight. We're hitting all the bases.
We're not singing "O Canada," though.
Okay, all right, fine. You don't have to.
You're
That's
good.
fine. You're totally good. Oh, well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
May the Shabbat candles that we now light inspire us to see justly and gently, look honestly and with kindness, and to see what's holy in each other. Middle of page 4, Hine ma tov, how good and pleasant it is for us to be together.
And how wonderful it is that we all get to be here and share the Shabbat evening together tonight. So please take just a moment to introduce yourselves or to say Shabbat Shalom to someone sitting nearby. Or wave across the room if no one's that close to you. That's okay too. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim 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 שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יללי, יללי, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יללי, יללי, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Welcome again. It's good to see everybody in person as we continue. Bottom of page 8 with our family prayer. May we never take for granted the gift of Shabbat as we sit nestled in the Rocky Mountains, sharing this humble moment with family and friends. May the satisfaction of celebrating Shabbat hearten our spirits. Let Shabbat peace bring quiet to our souls. Allow this time set aside for song and prayer to bring us closer together in thoughts and deeds. Let this space we share come our place of devotion, glowing with reverence and filled with our tradition. May the end of this week encourage us to examine our actions. Let's look ahead toward the new week. We'll be worthy of all of God's blessings. The top of page 8 as we welcome the angels of peace. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And upon approaching Jerusalem, the pilgrims lifted their eyes to the mountains. They said, "From where does my help come?" Esainai, the top of page 12 as we continue.
Esainai el harim, me'ayin yavo Ezri. Esainai el harim, me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai, oseh shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai, oseh shamayim va'aretz. Esainai el harim, me'ayin yavo Ezri. Esainai el harim, me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai, oseh shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai, oseh shamayim va'aretz.
And as we travel back to the 16th century to the town of Sfat, the home and center of Jewish mysticism, Shlomo Alkabetz composed that beautiful poem of Lecha Dodi, welcoming the Sabbath bride, the top of page 16.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad. echad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad. L'shemo tiferet v'litchila, l'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'krat Shabbat, lechu v'nilcha, ki hi mekor ha'veracha, mirosh mikerem nisucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila, l'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitzi mitohavecha, Rav lashevet be'emer hamacha, vehu yachmol alaychem l'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela.
The bottom of page 18, we rise, face the rear of the sanctuary as we greet the Sabbath bride.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, la l'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha dodi, l'krat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela.
May be seated. Top of page 21 with Psalm 92. It was entitled "The Song for the Sabbath Day," also known to be recited for the first time in Jerusalem at the temple. The top of the page on page 21 will continue responsively. It is good to give thanks to you, O Lord, to praise your name through song, to speak in the morning of your loving kindness and your faithfulness each night. Music of the lute and the harp, melody of the lyre, I'll sing with my delight. We continue the top of page 20.
Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodo le'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodo le'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha baleilot, alei asur ve'alei navel, alei higayom bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodo le'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simachtani Adonai b'foalecha, b'ma'aseh yadecha aranei, magalu ma'asecha Adonai me'od, amku machshevotecha. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodo le'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodo le'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
That was a nice change.
Yeah, change it up
I like that.
occasionally.
That's good. All right, with Steve and Elsa here, instead of me saying I have to always wave to you, I've been waving to you for months and months that you're not here. So we're going to have you read for us just for today. You can lead us on page 23, and you'll do it in person. This is a nice surprise for all of us. You're known as Steve, I want to get off the healing list, Reese, right?
That's it.
Okay.
No more Misha Barak.
No, we're done.
Just for today, I will have one day only, forgetting yesterday and tomorrow, and not trying to solve the whole problem of life at once.
Just for today, I'll be unafraid of life and death, unafraid to enjoy the beautiful and be happy. People are as happy as they make up their minds to be.
Just for today, I will adjust myself to what is and not try to adjust everything to suit me. If I cannot have what I like, I will like what I have.
Just for today, I'll be agreeable, cheerful, charitable, do my best, praise people for what they can do, not criticize them for what they cannot do, and if I find fault, I'll forgive it and forget it. I'll try not to improve nor regulate anybody except myself.
Just for today, I will have a plan. I may not follow it exactly, but I will have one. It will save me from worry, hurry, and indecision.
Just for today, I'll get people off my nerves and not get on theirs. I'll appreciate them for what they do and what they are.
Just for today, I will not show if my feelings are hurt.
Just for today, I'll find a little time for quiet, to relax, realize what life is and can be. Time to think about God and get a better perspective of myself.
Just for today, I will look at life with fresh eyes and discover the wonder of it. I will know that as I give to the world, so the world will give to me.
Thank you. Page 24, as we continue, we rise for our call to worship. Thank you. And join with the cantor and the Baruch Hu.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
May be seated. The top of page 28, it's a beautiful prayer that was composed by taking the words of Moses and those of Joshua. It was written almost 3,000 years ago, but I think still relevant today when we're chanting, when there's darkness, we pray that God provides protection until the sun rises in the morning. Ahavat Olam, the top of page 28.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avta, Amcha avta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chokim u'mishpatim, Otanu leman אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם ולילה נגע יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל.
There's a preschool I just learned in Dallas that follows one of the oldest traditions of teaching the Shema. And it was that you put all the letters in front of the kids and then you put honey on the letters. And as they lick the letters, they learn how to say the Shema. And the tradition still carries on today, which I think is amazing. Top of page 30 as we join with the cantor.
Listen, Israel, Adonai, our God is one. Listen, Israel, Adonai. Our God is one. Listen, Israel, Adonai. Our God is one. Shema. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
The top of page 32, it reminds us of so much that we are grateful for. So we continue responsively gratitude. As the sun sets slowly behind the mountains of Vail, we gather together appreciative of the many gifts we enjoy. the Shabbat amidst the peacefulness of these surroundings. Let us no longer focus on that which we desire, but rather upon what we already savor, the quietness of the creek and the soft mountain air. We thank you each day for health of body, mind, and spirit. Let our daily actions reflect our gratefulness for our lives every moment and every breath. We recite the prayers surrounded by family and friends. Let us joyfully lift our voices in song, grateful to God who has given us the blessings of Shabbat. Little page 32 as we continue.
Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Ya lai la lai lai yai lai ya la lai. Yai la lai lai ya la 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'ilim Adonai, mi kamocha neder v'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh peleh, nora tehilot oseh peleh. Malchutecha ro'u v'necha, bokei lifnei Moshe, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Ya lai la lai lai yai lai ya la lai. Yai la lai lai ya la lai lai lai.
Shomer Yisrael, guardian of Israel, we call out to you with prayer to protect the men, women, and children brutally kidnapped by Hamas and held captive in Gaza, along with the members of the Israel Defense Forces, missing in action or held captive. May it be your will speedily and soon to bring them out from darkness and the shadow of death. Give continued strength to the IDF to do all that must be done to deliver them from danger and back to the loving embrace of their dear ones. The verses from Isaiah be true. Those delivered by God will be returned, and they will enter Zion with everlasting joy. And that is our prayer of Hashkivenu, that we pray that God provides shelter and peace over them during these difficult days. Page 34 as we join together.
Shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love, shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu l'shalom, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu l'shalom. Shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love, shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu l'shalom, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu l'shalom.
As we read in the book of Exodus, in 6 days the Lord had created the heavens and the earth. The seventh day he ceased from his work and rested. Page 36 at the bottom of the page, Vishamru.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini ubein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam.
There are those in our community who are in need of healing of body, mind, or spirit. If you have a person in your life in need of healing, please feel free in just a moment to share their name aloud as we move about the sanctuary. We continue page 38 at the top of the page, Mishaberach.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We offer blessings for full healing to Gail Balin, Sue Beiser, Dennis Deutsch, Gordon and Margaret Fitzichem, Carol Ann Finn, Jane Friedman, Deborah Goldman, Mark Groblowski, Lori Hellman, Mike Herman, Re'ea Ivri, Donald Jaffe, Harriet Jaffe, Mary Sue Katz, Cheryl Kessler, Herman Keek, Ronan Kujawa, Renee Myers, Stephen Reese, Joyce Rosen, Roberta Scheller, Sam Schwartz, and Johnny Siegel, Bill Silvers, B. Sklarowitz, Dina Stempler, Maury Strauss, Marcy Tracy, Goldie Wetcher, Mickey Winokur, and Dave Wolf.
Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha
So we turn to page 40 and rise. We'll continue with the Reader's Kaddish.
Yitkada ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'amad yivra kirteh ve'amlich malchuteh.
B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayedecha Beit Yisrael Bagala bagala uv'izman kariv.
Ve'imeru.
Amen. Yesh Rabba mevarach le'alam lameho maya yitvarach.
Yitbarach ve'yishtabach. Yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shemei dekudsha.
Brechu.
Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata.
Tishbechata v'nechemata damiran bialma.
V'imru.
Amen. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Continue at page 42 and then silently through page 57.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha.
May be seated when you've completed the Amida. Cantor will continue with our prayer for peace, page 56, Oseh Shalom.
Spirit of the world, make us whole again. Grant us peace. Grant us your peace. Spirit of the world, hear our humble prayer. Grant us peace. Grant us your peace. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya, say shalom, huya, say shalom. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya, say shalom, huya, say shalom. Aleinu, Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Aleinu, Aleinu, ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel.
We'll save that exciting news of your concert coming up when we do a few announcements. It's a big deal for all of us. Well, when trying to put together a message or some words in each Friday night, it's hard not to repeat what one might have said for the last 50 years. But what you get out of the news is always so amazing, because we've all heard the expression an eye for an eye, and some of us might have even used it. But when addressing the Israel Defense Forces last week, the chief of staff of the IDF reminded his troops that the war against Hamas, that they are not on a killing spree, acting out of revenge against the enemy. He went on and he said, "We will act like human beings, and unlike our enemy, we're going to maintain our humanity." Now, I'd like to look again at that piece, the words, and put them in context. If we look at the whole verse taken from the book of Leviticus, I think you'll see the true meaning behind these troublesome words, eye for an eye. "And a man, if he strikes mortally any human life, he shall be put to death. And a man who strikes mortally any animal shall make restitution, a life for a life. And if a man gives a wound on his fellow, as he did, so shall be done to him. A break for a break, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth." Well, when I first read that, it seems pretty black and white. It sounds exactly what they were saying, but the rabbis who interpret the text and enforce the laws from the text, well, they don't accept this as a literal translation of the verses. Now, I think just about all of us have learned that the verse means a value of an eye, really, and the value of the other eye, and so forth. But the commandment would seem so open and shut, but not so fast when you begin to look into the details. The Talmud, the way it's written, is it'll first take a verse, and they put this verse in this thing called the Mishnah. The Mishnah is a collection of oral laws. There's all the things that the rabbis talked about. They finally put it all together into a book. It was written about the end of the 2nd century. The Talmud then takes the collection of commentaries and they elaborate on this thing called the Mishnah. So the Talmud brings all these proofs that this eye for an eye law, well, it can't be and probably was never the case. So they start with the biblical verse, they put it into the Mishnah of the oral law, then the Talmud tries to explain this away, which is why you have to spend all those years in rabbinical school saying, "I just don't get it." Well, the rabbis of the Talmud explain that there are any number of verses in the Torah describing the value of body parts. They mention the argument that, for example, the eye of a diamond cutter may be different than the value of an opera singer's eye. Or if a man was toothless, and it would be worthless to knock out his tooth because he doesn't have any teeth. That's why it's 26 volumes of Talmud. So what's going on here? Well, this is where my Bible professors at the seminary would get together with the Talmud professors at the seminary, and they kind of merge to put it all together, because if you were just reading the Bible, someone sometimes says, "I'd like to read the Bible." If you're just reading the Bible, it says, "Just as he inflicted a wound, so shall that wound be given to him." Even in English, that didn't make sense to me. But the rabbis of the Talmud sat around the table, and they had the same puzzled look, I'm sure, in the 2nd century that I would have when I was studying it. And they'd say in their explanation that if you're going to pull out a tooth or poke out an eye, you would have worded the command, "Thus it shall be taken from him," instead of the verse that says, "So shall the wound be given to him." Well, I still didn't get it. Just as it would be taken from him, so shall that wound be given to him. Two different ways of it. So unless you're a Bible student, it sounds like trivial difference. But the section of the Talmud begins to discuss, and they say the language that's used, now they get into more detail, is the same language used when money is exchanged in monetary compensation. You have to be a lawyer to understand what they're even trying to talk about. But the way the compensation for an offended body part is how they describe it, can be evaluated as to the value of the offender. So now they put it, the section of the Talmud they put it in was all on monetary values. So a life for a life, kind of blank, that's pretty simple. That's murder. But even when there's extenuating circumstances and you begin reading down the column, for instance, if a man kills someone with malice aforethought, the penalty is death. But if a man is chopping wood, this is where I love sitting there and watch the teacher explain this. If a man is chopping wood and the blade of his axe becomes loose, flies off, and kills somebody, it's a clear-cut accident. But the axeman is still has guilt of negligence. So he isn't executed, it's not considered murder, but he does lose his freedom and all these restrictions put upon his life. And then they go on with more examples. The interesting part, and this is where it kind of closes up, is why doesn't the Torah come out and say the value of an eye for the value of an eye, instead of just an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth? Where does it say that money is even exchanged? It doesn't. The rabbis had to make all this up in the 2nd century. So the rabbis say that the Torah is worded in such a way, and this is what I liked about it, so it intimidates the perpetrator from dismissing the whole thing by saying, well, that's no big deal. If I have to pay for the value of his eye, the value of his tooth, or killing him, I can afford it. And I'll just pay it and be done with it. They wanted to avoid that. So I think the Torah truly thought that one who inflicts the loss of an eye deserves that his eye should be taken out as well. That's what the text would be saying. That never happened. It was never enforced, and it never happened. Now going back to what was going on today in Gaza. So when the chief of staff of the IDF recalls the horrors of October 7th, he was thinking of this because they were thinking an eye for an eye in marching into Gaza. So he didn't say an eye for an eye. Instead, remember what he said. We act like human beings, and unlike our enemy, we're always going to maintain our humanity. Well, we are going to pause for a moment because we have a lot of announcements, many, many things coming up. Every week, something new. We'll introduce the president of our congregation, Stephen Wellens, for some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for coming tonight, and we're happy to see everybody who we can't see, but you can see us all over the country and all over the world. I want to do a couple of announcements, and then I want to share with you a story of something that happened today, and you'll understand why we're a little choked up today. Ambassador Dennis Ross is coming for the Vail Symposium. If you have not already signed up, I don't know if there are seats left, but they usually sell out. Purim, March 24th. Passover is just around the corner. And then we're going to get into the summer where the rabbi and the cantor have tons and tons of events planned, starting with Boots and Blues Shabbat, which was a sellout quickly, and it was a wonderful experience. Leadville Cemetery cleanup right after that. So please look at your bulletin. Look at the calendar. There's all kinds of things going on. I'm sure that when I'm done, I forgot to mention what the cantor would like me to talk about. Well, she'll follow up with me. But I want to share with you a story and why today is a tough day for a lot of people in this valley. I woke up today like I have every day for the last 3.5 weeks. My wife's going to laugh, but first thing I do is put a shoe on my foot because I broke my toe after being on rehab for 3.5 months, and I can't get a shoe on my foot. And today I got a shoe on my foot. I said, let me take out my snowboard boots. They didn't work, and the ski board didn't work, and I was very upset. And it was a horrible day for me because I thought, I'm never going to get on the mountain. So then I went out to lunch with a good friend, and I came home. And when I came home, my wife greeted me in the garage crying, and I said, what is up? And you know, they always talk about 6 degrees of separation, and sometimes separation to somebody that you don't know, that's a family member. But sometimes 6 degrees of separation is how our community is also connected. And I didn't know this connection. But I have a very dear friend, and my wife and I, Joe Paola, who we affectionately call Cheddar because he's an amazing chef, was in an avalanche today in the Gore Range in the back country. It was a horrible phone call to get, but thank God he's alive and he made it out. But unfortunately, one of our dear Valley members who had been in the Valley for, looks like maybe 30 or 40 years, Steve Zuckerman, who was a ski patroller. He's an EMT. He died on a heart attack trying to rescue our friend and never made it. And his family called the rabbi today, and I walked in, and I started to tell the rabbi the story, and he said, I got a phone call. And I said, how is this connected? But it's a horrible thing. But thank God we have first responders that are willing to risk their own lives to save us when we're in need. And his family is hurting. And I don't know his family, but I told the rabbi we'll do whatever they need to help them. I think his kids were bar mitzvahed here, bat mitzvahed here. He's been in the valley for a long time. Luckily, my friend made it out alive, but he didn't. And for that, we're truly sorry. But as a community, if you know him or you see something, let's let his family know that his memory will always be kept in our hearts in the valley here. And I know my friend, when he gets out of surgery and wakes up in a couple of days, he'll never forget that gentleman that never made it to him but gave his life to try to save him. So it's not normally what I do up here, but I felt it was important to tell you a story that I think matters. And the rabbi is helping the family, and so I've told the rabbi whatever we can do, we'll do. So with that, Shabbat Shalom, and I hope to always have good news, but it isn't always the case. But I wanted you to know what's going on in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And a very special welcome to Lynn and Andy, Helene and Bernie. Not new people here, but newish to your newish surroundings. I think that's amazing. New home. A new home. It's just incredible. We can't wait to see it. I know that you took a tour for Janet that she could look around and said, wow, this is incredible. So welcome to both. It's really incredible. I did want to highlight just a couple things before I turn it over to the cantor. We have, when something is told to us that this is what a minor event is taking place, we then have to put it in our brains and kind of mush it around a little bit and say, what can we do with this? Well, one of these was the Sephardic workshop with Yafa Turgoman. I get like a little notice from Denver that she's the Sephardic Balabusta, and I thought, okay, we haven't done that before. We're going to have a Sephardic cooking lesson. And I thought, well, that's probably not enough. So I go to the cantor and I said, how about a Sephardic Shabbat? How's your Sephardic music?
And my Sephardic music is limited. However, one of my dear friends, Yoni Batat, who is one of the best and most well-known contemporary Sephardic Jewish artists, is going to be joining us for the Shabbat, and I am so excited. I went on tour with him when I went on tour with Nava Tehillah, this incredible Israeli band, and he was our violin player. He plays all kinds of string instruments, like an unbelievable talent. He just came out with an album, and I have a meeting with him on Sunday to nail down all the details, but you are in for such a treat with him.
And that's how the Bluegrass Shabbat happened.
I have a surprise for you about that as well. It's all kinds of surprises today. Colleen is joining us for that Shabbat as well.
Nice. Wow.
So excited. We have like the best. This is like the best Jewish music in the country. I don't know if you know how lucky you are with the people that come and visit us.
Right.
But
then, wait.
best of the best.
We have the 2 services on the mountain, which we usually do for 600, like a mini Jewish Woodstock, where all of you get to come up and join us. And then we thought, what if we did it and it wasn't on Shabbat?
So we still have the 2 Shabbats, don't worry, those are still there. But we just about an hour ago locked down a date for me and Colleen, our album release party and concert, and we are bringing in all kinds of contemporary Jewish musicians to come and do this concert with us, to perform all of the music that will be on our album, in addition to some of their own original music. And also, thank you, Lynn, because I don't know if any of this would happen without you have approaching me a few years ago going, have you ever heard of this woman, Colleen, before? And I was yeah, we're kind of friends, and now we're best friends and writing music together, and I'm so glad you brought her out that first time and got the ball rolling, and it has changed the trajectory.
So it'll be a very musical
music.
Summer. And the other thing, we're trying to find the date and to plug it in for the right time, because that was amazing when you carried the Torah at your great-grandfather's synagogue. We're going to do that again. We want to go back to Leadville. It can only hold about 50 people, which is fine, but we're going to give you that chance to walk around at the Torah one more time of your great-grandfather. We'll do another service at the Leadville for Shabbat. So it's a full summer. We all stay healthy. Mark your calendars. It's going to be unbelievable.
And it's going to be August 14th. It's a Wednesday will be the concert. Just confirmed like an hour ago. So, yeah.
Yes. So again, welcome to so many of you that are viewing and watching and being with us from both sides of the country. We're glad to have you with us and to be joined. And for all of you who came out tonight, it's wonderful having you with us. We're going to return to our prayer books now. Turn to page 60. We rise and join together. Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gidula le'otzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'hashevota el livavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim V'hashevota el livavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
At this moment, in memory of our loved ones who are no longer with us, we join hands in love and remembrance. A link has been broken in the chain that bound us together, yet strong bonds of home and love hold us one to another. In solemn testimony to that unbroken faith which links the generations one to another, we call to mind those whose yahrzeit we observe this month. Robert L. Bernstein, Helen Braunstein, Maxine Brunwasser, Nancy Budd, Ethel Cohen, Carl Dietz, Toby Dvorkin, Ria Iyer, Sylvia Feldman, William Fishback, Jason Fleischman, Robert S. Fremont, Joan Frommer, Max Fermansky, Molly Futernick, Howard Goldstein, Daniel Goodman, Ada Gordon, Lily Grablowski, Donald Graubart, Irene Grossman, Bob Janko, Bernice Jenkins, Lee Kay, Mary Kent, Maxine Lando, Jack Leeds, Rita Lewis, Raymond Lumry, Brandon Merritt, George Mintzer, Anna Nadell, Arlene Neperant, Doris Olch, Richard Peller, Gary Plotnick, Herbert Poncher, Molly Raymer, Lester Reese, Victor Resnick, Bernice Resnick, Kurt Rosenbach, Irving Ross, Robert Rubin, James Sandberg, Charlotte Schiff, Jenny Lou Schoolman, Arthur Shapiro, Marjorie Schunholtz, Adele Siegel, Charlie Slakowitz, Dawn Soslin, Dorothy Spector, Yetta Spiro, Norma Spitzmiller, Sheila Strauss, C.J. Tenner, and Lillian Wagner. And if anyone else is observing yahrzeit this month. Thank you. The Mourner's Kaddish can be found in our prayer books on page 64, and those who wish may join with me as we say, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agalav v'zman kariv v'imramein. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Leila mincha birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imramein. Yehe shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imramein. Oseh shalom b'imromav, uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imramein.
Amen.
I'll give you a job. And I'll give you a job. Adonai ozle mo yitain, Adonai varechet amova shalom. May the Lord grant strength into his people. Bless all peoples with peace.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz b'tei avon.
Shabbat shalom. Nice, thank you.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim
Oh, you got
bim
it?
bim bim bim
I'm gonna ask people to come
bam,
up.
bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
And if anyone would like to help us break it, Piper, are you back there? She's been helping because Jeannie's with her dad who's not well in Florida, but Piper is loyally with us. And we're going to start breaking down this so the Catholic Church is ready tomorrow morning.